Hey guys, greetings to all Flamengo fans. This is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel. If you're new, please follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe down below, turn on the notification bell, and drop a like on the video. We're here with a lot of information for you. The World Cup is coming, and tomorrow we'll be in Cleveland following Brazil and Egypt. And we're here thanks to Stake. I'm wearing the athlete's jersey here, man. Pelé's, right? This amazing jersey is even better than Michael Jordan's for sure, right? I think Michael Jordan is a basketball idol. I used to support the Chicago Bulls and all, but when it comes to Brazil's soccer jersey, it's Pelé. Nothing could be more fitting than having Pelé here, right, man? And besides this jersey you can find at Atleta Brazil, you'll be wearing the same jersey that Pelé used to wear in the old World Cups. So look, I'm here to bring you some important information. Really important. Tell me, do you know Stake? Have you already registered at Stake? Haven't registered at Stake yet, so I'll leave the link here and I'll also put a QR code on the screen for you to take advantage of it. Because look, I'm here at Stake and I found, man, some really interesting odds here at Stake, okay? And I don't think it's that risky, always remembering to play responsibly. It's for people over 18, it's for fun, not an investment. Look, man, I'm really liking the platform. I'll share it with you guys on Insta, on our Reels. I'll post it in the stories. I'll also share some tips on our tips channel, which is here, right, in our pinned comment, along with the link to this ticket here. Look, Brazil to win the game against Egypt and total goals over 1.5 in the first half, okay? Over 1.5 total goals in the game over 1.5, total goals in the game over 1.5, total goals in the first half over 0.5. In other words, there has to be a goal in the first half, 2 goals total in the game, total corners over 6.5. Man, it's really easy to hit this one. You have to have a goal in the first half, a goal in the second half at least. There can be 2 goals in the first half, okay? Okay, but there has to be a goal in the first half and a goal in the second half, right? There must be 2 total goals, or if both are scored in the first half, that's it. So, it's pretty easy. Easy Brazil to win the game. Total goals, there have to be 2 in the match. There has to be a goal in the first half and more than 6.5 corners. Man, this one turned out really cool. It's really nice. I just did it now on Stake and it's hitting 1.97. So now is the time for us to always start having some fun. Right, just messing around, just some pocket change so we can follow the World Cup. And these games, this last game, right, as preparation for the Brazilian national team for the World Cup. Well, I'm going to bring you some important information about Flamengo and everything else, but we need to talk about Neymar and the Brazilian national team. Okay, we have the possibility of Paquetá being a starter. In the press conference, Carlo Ancelotti highlighted the importance of Lucas Paquetá for the Brazilian national team, especially now without Neymar. Okay? Praising his versatility, in other words, the star from Flamengo is also seen as the star of the Brazilian national team. Paquetá, open quotes for Ancelotti, is an important player for us because he has different characteristics from the other midfielders. Yes, I want to test him. I also want to test Igor Thiago in tomorrow's game to look for another option. The system with 4 up front is well established. I want to try another alternative in the last test. I told you, right, that Ancelotti would do all the tests he could, all the ones within his reach, right? Why? He has a very strong team, but they don't have chemistry yet. And in the second half, they showed they can beat big teams, right? They can beat very big national teams. So honestly, I think he's going to test as many options as possible. I think he'll give opportunities to those players who came on in the second half against Panama, who did really well. And I believe Paquetá has earned that spot. Regarding Neymar's situation, since people are worried about whether Neymar will be able to play in the World Cup or not, the CBF has informed that forward Neymar will undergo an MRI scan next Monday. The number 10 jersey of the Brazilian national team is already out. It's confirmed that he will miss tomorrow's friendly against Egypt. He won't even travel to Cleveland for the match, okay? So, called up but not used. Because he can't. He just can't. It's sad, isn't it, man? Because he won't be able to play against Egypt, okay? It's just a friendly and all that. Will he be able to play against Morocco? Will he at least be able to play against Haiti? That would be important, right? Yeah, the complicated thing, right? The tricky part for me about Neymar is that for me, Morocco is the toughest game, maybe even tougher than the round of 16. I don't know if GB is here in the car with me, Gabriel Orfon, the reporter. Do you agree that maybe Flamengo, it's because there are so many Flamengo players on the national team that we even agree that Brazil versus Morocco could be tougher than the round of 16 game when Brazil gets past the group stage?
Olha, só que o Brasil passando da fase provavelmente enfrenta ou Holanda ou Japão.
And man, there are people saying that Brazil is going to lose to Japan. That's why, right? Because they're facing Japan, right? Japan beat Brazil, isn't that right? It was a friendly match, yeah. Yeah, but Morocco made it to the World Cup semifinals, huh? So it's a tough game, a really tough game. Brazil's debut is really tough, okay? So, of course, we want the best for the national team. We'd like to have Neymar and Paquetá. It could be this player then who will perform like a star, like a key player to help decide the game, right? Let me share some information here, man. Let me just read the comments from the guys here, right? About Paquetá. Yeah. The man, look, he's the most important guy for Carlo Ancelotti's system, Edivar Carneiro is saying here. Another fan sent this in, Daniel 10. I didn't understand why at Flamengo Hardim didn't put him in to play Arasca's role. He did put him in, man. He actually played a few games as Arasca's backup, or am I wrong? He did, he definitely did. He did. Orfon confirms he played in Carrascal's spot, and it could be after the cup too, okay? And then people are joking here. The anti-Flamengo fans know more than Ancelotti. Silence. They're already criticizing because the guy is a Flamengo fan. But I have no doubt about that, okay? So, the anti-Flamengo fans are out there attacking Ancelotti's possible decision to have Paquetá as a starter. Yeah, they're out there attacking everything that involves Flamengo. Yeah, we've seen it in the last few days. They're even attacking Bruno Henrique and saying that Flamengo, I've seen this absurd thing. But anyway, now they're claiming that the system, look at this, just so you see, now there are even conspiracy nuts, right? They used to say Flamengo fans had their own land. Now there are conspiracy theorists. Now they're saying that the system wanted to send a message, don't mess with Flamengo. That Flamengo were champions, took both titles from Palmeiras last year by force, that they won 2 championships. And to rub it in Palmeiras' face, they even put Bruno Henrique, with everything that happened, the Betis thing and all. They put Bruno Henrique to lift the trophy. My friends, just look at that. Let's go. What secondhand embarrassment, man? What secondhand embarrassment? Bruno Henrique lifted the trophies because he was the captain, right? In the case of the Libertadores, if I'm not mistaken, he was the captain. He was wearing the captain's armband. The picture shows it. He's wearing the captain's armband. When he lifts it, it's because he's the captain. It's the captain who lifts the armband. Because he was the most experienced player at that moment. That's absurd, man. That's absurd. It's surreal. I'm amazed, at people's ability to make things up, to invent, to create narratives. And then it's the Flamengo fan who's called the terraflanista. It's the Flamengo fan who's creating situations, creating dossiers and all that. All right, I'll stay with you then. And from here, we'll just be together cheering for Brazil, I believe, right? Yeah, but I already know they'll be rooting against the Flamengo players. Like I said, there's already this persecution against Paquetá. Yeah, the anti-Flamengo people are upset because Paquetá is respected, and they're already a bit annoyed too. Did you see how absurd that was? Reporters interviewed the kid, and when he said he was a fan of Leo Pereira, people started making fun of him. Not the reporter, right? Comedy, right? They do comedy profiles, but they also talk to GE, right? So they're interviewing and all, and trying to question, the guy, making fun of the kid because the kid has Leo Pereira as his idol. He only supported Leo Pereira. Seriously, is there no one else? Guys, what a thing. What a low, ridiculous thing. I'm impressed, man. It's amazing how much Flamengo bothers people, especially those guys who just attack others. No, now the narrative is that last year the terraflanistas, the Flamengo fans, the YouTubers, the influencers, and the Flamengo journalists created narratives and they didn't fight back. And now that they're going for it, they're refuting everyone. I'm not going to refute anything. For me, it doesn't prove anything. You have your side, we have ours. My opinion is one thing, yours is another. Okay, let's see who the majority sides with. Simple. For me, Flamengo gets hurt badly and Palmeiras benefits a lot from refereeing mistakes. And that's that. I'm not obligated to accept what you think, and you're not obligated to accept what I think either. But getting back to it, look at Gabriel Magalhães. According to information here coming out on the GE portal, the defender Gabriel Magalhães reported fatigue and is now questionable for Brazil's friendly against Egypt. With that, during Thursday's training, Carlo Ancelotti brought in Leo Pereira. All right, look at that. Into the starting lineup in Gabriel's place, okay? So, on the left back, Douglas Santos showed up in place of Alexandro. Douglas Santos could even be an option for Flamengo, right? Another change tested by the coach was bringing in Rayan in Lucas Paquetá's position, although the decision about that spot hasn't been confirmed yet. But basically, it would be Rayan coming in during the second half. He's just testing things out, okay? Yeah, the lineup chosen by Ancelotti in the practice session isn't the final decision, okay? Alisson, Wesley, Marquinhos, Leo Pereira, and Douglas Santos, Casemiro, Bruno Guimarães, Ryan, Rafinha, Vini Jr., and Igor Thiago, okay? It's not something else. It's not a final decision that Rayan will start in the cup or that Paquetá has been dropped. I saw people saying there's so much hate toward Paquetá and toward Flamengo too that they blame Paquetá. I've even seen people saying Ancelotti took Paquetá out. Guys, he's doing tests. He's really satisfied. He praised Paquetá a lot, right? So Ancelotti destroyed those who are criticizing Lucas Paquetá. And man, just out of pure club bias, right? Unbelievable. Yeah, look, let me bring up a situation regarding the transfer market. Robinho Jr. still has a chance to leave Santos for a Brazilian Serie A rival, okay? After the controversy with Neymar, the young player might leave the team in the next transfer window. So, Robinho Jr., okay? Yeah, even though he was offered to Flamengo, Flamengo didn't move forward, probably because of the price and other factors. Flamengo ended up not going through with the deal. But we have the mid-season transfer window coming up, which promises to define the future of this Santos striker, right? According to information gathered by the journalist Lucas Musetti, he's someone I really trust, right? He's a very well-informed guy. Gabriel, Lucas Musetti has a lot of good information, right? Yeah, that's right. He's also a really nice guy. Really nice guy. And he's very well-informed about Santos, right? Did you get it? Good, good. Let's go. It took a little while, but let's go. Yeah, so he's very well informed about Santos. Yeah, the Santos Academy kids. So Robinho Jr. would be on the list of names considered negotiable by the Santos board, and his future could be far from Santos in the second half of the year, okay? Yeah, I talked to an agent who also has contacts at Santos and mainly, right, with Robinho Jr.'s people. And he told me that it's unlikely Robinho Jr. would leave Santos for a Sao Paulo team for a direct rival from Sao Paulo, that it's not an option they're considering, okay? So this is exclusive information we're bringing to you, that he wouldn't want to switch to a Sao Paulo team. If he were to move to another Brazilian club, obviously, he'd prefer to have an opportunity abroad, okay? They're looking for and waiting for offers from abroad, but if Robinho Jr. is going to transfer to another Brazilian club, his option wouldn't be a team from Sao Paulo, okay? So he only played 4 matches wearing the Santos jersey. He can transfer to any other top-flight team in Brazil, no problem. So a transfer within the domestic market is not ruled out, although it would be more interesting for Santos to negotiate with a foreign club and for the player as well. And the player doesn't want teams from São Paulo, so that means Flamengo, Fluminense, right? Yeah, those would show up as options. Yeah, the agent told me that Flamengo and Fluminense would be the best options, but it's possible that Atlético Paranaense or another team outside the Rio-São Paulo axis could show up too, okay? So, it's a situation that could end up happening. It's worth mentioning that he has already been offered to Flamengo, okay? And since he was offered to Flamengo and this was confirmed by a source connected to the board, it shows that there is already a relationship and a chance that something could happen. Look, I also want to bring some important information here regarding Lohan and Ryan Lucas, right? According to Guilherme Flazuero, who has some good information with the people from Flabas as well, the duo will be evaluated by coach Leonardo Jardim, but they should leave Flamengo soon. So Flamengo probably won't use the duo Lohan and Ryan Lucas, okay? They're both attacking midfielders and defensive midfielders. Both were on loan. They've already returned. They could have an opportunity with Leonardo Jardim, but he's still going to evaluate them. However, there's a good chance they won't be used, okay? They would be competing for positions with Arrascaeta, De La Cruz, and several other names. Like I told you, Flamengo is very well covered in the midfield, right? The tendency is that Flamengo will look for this new midfielder then. We've mentioned some names that Flamengo is scouting. We also know that Flamengo is going to the market and there's this possibility of bringing in a player, right? Taking advantage of a market opportunity. What would this market opportunity be? It could be a star player, yes, that Flamengo could bring in, but it would have to be a player whose contract is ending, a player in the last year of their contract, or someone involved in a negotiation for another player. For example, if someone wants a Flamengo player, Flamengo, they want Carrascal. Flamengo wants this player. Flamengo makes a deal. A player whose contract may be ending, so several options could arise. But it's worth mentioning Flamengo once again here. Flamengo is going to try to lower the age of the squad. Flamengo will do everything to reduce the age of the squad. So they're going to scout and try to spend as little as possible on signings in the middle of the year. Maybe at the end of the year, Flamengo will be able to make new signings. That's it. I invite you to follow, like, and share. Hi.
Só pra fechar também, lembrando que o Lohan tem menos.
The year, so he can also be evaluated by Marcelo Salazar, the new under-20 coach. It's tough for Lohan to keep going back to the under-20 team. It's easier for Flamengo to transfer him, right? Yeah, it's easier for Flamengo. He's reminding us that Lohan is under 20, so he can also be evaluated by Marcelo Salazar, who is the new coach of Flamengo's under 20 football team. But honestly, I think Flamengo should negotiate Lohan, Ryan Lucas, and I think they should take advantage of it, okay? But that's fine. But my feeling is that Flamengo is going to negotiate. And the other situation I was going to tell you about, which even went viral, was Alassian missing a penalty on a tiny little goal, right? Man, people are making fun of him because he missed the penalty in an amateur game. Come on, for God's sake, guys. That's not fair either, right? Let's also, I know, man, people are a bit upset with Alassian's game, but come on, let's, right? Take it easy. Watch what we say and how we say it. Did you see the goal? The goalkeeper was bigger than the goal. He still tried to get it past the goalkeeper. It was a tiny little goal. The goalkeeper was bigger than the goal. He tried to get it past the keeper, and the ball hit the post.
O gol entra facilmente dentro desse carro.
That goal doesn't fit easily inside this car. That's the goal Orphan was talking about, saying that goal fits inside this car. For God's sake, guys. No, it was just a joke. It was an amateur game. It was an end-of-year, mid-year party game. It was a party. I don't even know what that was. What kind of game was that? All I know is it was something for the holidays. The guys were there playing ice hockey goal. Yeah, ice hockey goal. Exactly, with two runners here, people pressing, pushing him. He couldn't even run to take the penalty. The goalkeeper was larger than the goal. He wouldn't miss, yet he would. Well, here's what I think. In those cases, the guy just needs to walk away, right? Because then he gets exposed. People say, it wasn't necessary, it was just a joke. Then I saw people criticizing the kid. All right, he made his mistakes and all. He needs to improve. He could be traded, but man, that doesn't define who the player is, Alassiana. To me, all this teasing doesn't make much sense because honestly, the goal was tiny. The goalkeeper was as big as the goal, and man, he still tried to score. It hit the post and was going in. Man, he almost made that goal. Tough, huh? Tough. Do you think Quim from Flamengo would have scored that goal, huh?
Ah, eu acho que nem o Jorginho, que o pulinho ali.
Só o Ronaldinho Gaúcho.
My wife is saying here, only Ronaldinho Gaucho, and Bruce would do it, huh? Bruce would do it. He'd even nutmeg the goalkeeper, right? You know who used to score that goal, Gabriel? Ah, your friend Orlando Berrio. Orlando Berrio. Maybe he would take a powerful shot. Guys, that's it. Sign up at Stake and remember to play responsibly. It's for those 18 and over and just for fun, not an investment. Yeah, man, thank you so much for tuning in. Greetings, Bruno Negras. This is Flamengo.